Jai Nityananda, Jai Vita Chandra, Jai Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Om Adhyana Timrandasya Gyana Jana Shalakya, Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Jai Pratapa Swami Nityanamne. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Krupa Pradayani Gora Katha Damdaya Natikam Kajani. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharni Nirvisesh Sunivadipasa Pudhistarni. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Saraswati Gurutash Vasabhur. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 11th chapter, text 98. No, text 97. So, we were seeing how King Prataprudra was on top of this terrace, and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and Gopinath Prabhu were showing him who were all the devotees, and they were, introducing. I mean, not introducing. They were showing him from far, from top. He was watching. Bhattacharya kahe ye madhura vachana, Chaitanyera srishti ye prema sankirtana. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya replied, "The sweet transcendental sound is a special creation of the Lord known as Prema Sankirtana, congregational chanting in love of Godhead." He was referring to their singing, very, very sweet Sankirtan. Avatari Chaitanya Kaila Dharma Pracharana, Kali Kali Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana. In this age of Kali, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended to preach the religion of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna is the religious principle for this age. The religion of Krishna consciousness is what is given in the Bhagavad Gita, where you connect with Krishna, be conscious of Krishna, and to act according to the way Krishna wants. And that is the highest principle, and that is being given in Kali Yuga in a very easy way. Normally, there are two types of yajnas, homas, the sacrifices which are performed for all grihasthas. It is always enjoined that when grihasthas get married, especially Brahmins, they are supposed to have, they are supposed to put fire, put ghee in, grains in the fire and keep the fire burning. And that is called Upasana, Upasana Homa. And, and then there are two types. One is, one is called the Homa and one is called the Yajna. Yajna is meant for, it's like a sacrificial thing for the welfare of everyone. Like you meet Ashwamedha Yajna, Gomedha Yajna and all that. It's for a higher purpose. And Homas are for, one's own benefit, like Vastu Homa and Ganesha Homa, Narsimha Homa, which you perform in the home. But these are all for material benefits. But this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, but that also, because you're sacrificing some, grains and some wealth for satisfying Krishna, and then all the discipline and so on. So you make spiritual progress. But this is higher than all that, because you're connecting with Krishna, everything with Krishna, and you're trying to live, dovetail everything in Krishna's, thinking of Krishna, Krishna's service, everything. So this is like karma yoga. So it's on a higher, much, much higher platform. And that you can simply do by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. You can connect with Krishna. If you notice, you may, what in the yajnas and all, they chant Vedas. I don't know how well, because Vedas have to be chanted very purely, only then they will have effect. And I don't know Very few Brahmins who are so pure and they can chant properly. And Hare Krishna mantra also depends on the purity of chanting. But congregationally, when you chant, then that is very powerful. Krishna gives sincerely some souls, even if they're not very advanced in Krishna consciousness, they come together and chant. That's very, very powerful. And that can give much, much more effect. People feel immediately, they feel something, some change in their hearts. Sankirtana yagnetandri kari aradhana seita sumeda ara kalihata jana. Anyone who worships Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by congregational chanting should be understood to be very intelligent. One who does not do so must be considered a victim of this age and bereft of all intelligence. Rascals propose that any man can invent their own religious process. And this proposition is condemned herein. If one actually wants to become religious, he must take up the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The real meaning of religion is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.19 to 22. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam navai vidur rishayo napi devaha na siddha mukya asura manushyaha kutascha vidyadara charanadaya Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manuhu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vaya Sakir Vayam Dvadashaite Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bataha Guhyam Visuddham Durbodham Yam Jnatvamritam Ashnute Etavan Eva Lokesmin Pumsam Dharma Parasmita Bhakti Yogo Bhagavati Tan Nama Grihanadibihi. The purport of this verse is that dharma or religion cannot be manufactured by a human being. Religion is the law or code of the Lord. Consequently, religion cannot be manufactured even by great saintly persons, demigods, or siddhamukyas. And what to speak of asuras, human beings, vidyadharas, charanas, and so on. Principles of dharma religion came down in the parampara system, beginning with 12 personalities, namely Lord Brahma, and the great saint Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaja, King Janaka, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaja, Shukadeva Goswami, and Yamaraja. Principles of religion are known to these 12 personalities. Dharma refers to the religious principles by which one can understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Dharma is very confidential, uncontaminated by any material influence, and very difficult for ordinary men to understand. However, if one actually understands Dharma, he immediately becomes liberated and is transferred to the kingdom of God. Bhagavata Dharma, the principle of religion, enunciated by the Parampara system, is the supreme principle of religion. In other words, Dharma refers to the science of Bhakti Yoga, which begins by the novices chanting the holy name of the Lord, the Nama Grihanadibi. So the purpose of religion is simply to understand God and love Him. This is such a sublime truth. And most people don't know that. They think religion is simply so that you can live happily in this material world, so that God is pleased and He blesses us with all wealth and prosperity and good family life and enough money and good health. That's what they think is religion useful for. You know, yesterday I'd gone for a funeral of one whose uncle. So, and the relatives were there. And for a long, he was very religious and pious when he was younger. But, you know, last few years, he was 90 plus. Last few years, he was totally, you know, very, very quiet. He was very introverted. He didn't communicate only. He was just all by himself. He just, I don't know, something. He just couldn't communicate. He was like that. And so I was just talking to some of the relatives and I'm saying, I think it was a preparation, you know, he was getting prepared. No, first he said, yeah, we were getting prepared because, you know, it was not so sudden. They were only thinking about the emotional ties. So said, yeah, we were ready because we were getting prepared, that, his slowly decline had come. Then I said, yes, he was also preparing for himself. I said, yeah, you have to become detached. No, otherwise it will be very painful. But they didn't think that he has to go back to Godhead. That's the most important thing. But still, because of the ties, material bonding is very strong. Most people cannot understand what's the purpose of religion. They only think religion is there so that you can live happily in this material world with all your relatives and friends, and that's what they think. But one who can understand the purpose of dharma, what is the purpose of dharma is actually to connect with Krishna, to in the mood of bhakti, which begins with this chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Therefore, in this age of Kali, as recommended here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita text 98, Kali Kale Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the method of religion approved by all Vedic scriptures. We can see that literally. You go and listen to some Vedic chants and all, it sounds nice, but not powerful enough to connect us to Krishna. You think, okay, will this reach God? Will he be really satisfied? You have a doubt. But when you do Sankirtana, you can connect immediately with Krishna, right? Anybody, even new people, they say, oh, I felt something down going my spine. Or at least they feel very happy. It's got immediate effect. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayet Yajantihi Sumedasaha. In this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So, for an explanation of this verse, refer to Adi Leela. That was already chapter 3, verse 52. So, he is Krishna himself. He's not blackish, but he is Krishna. Raja kahe shastra pramane chaitanya hana Krishna tabekena pandita sabhatan hate vrit Krishna. The king said, according to the evidence given in the revealed scriptures, it's concluded the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Why then are learned scholars sometimes indifferent to him? That's what even we feel, isn't it? How come? Most people don't even recognize him. Bhattaka he tandra kripa lesha hayayante te se tanhare Krishna karila ite pare. The Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can. Most people are thinking he is just a great saint. In the parliament also, they put all the pictures of great saints, on the roof, right? They showed. And in that middle is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right down. But then, yeah. But the thing is, they don't know he is God. They put him with all the acharyas. Anyway, doesn't matter. At least he's there. Imagine right in the middle is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, the Sankirtana movement can be spread by a person who's especially favored by Lord Krishna. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. Without first obtaining the mercy of the Lord, one cannot spread the holy name of the Lord. One who can spread the Lord's name is called Labdha Chaitanya. In the words of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, the Labdha Chaitanya is one who has actually awakened his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So see, we all want to be Labdha Chaitanya, right? Labdha Chaitanya. The influence of the pure devotees in Krishna consciousness is such that it can awaken others to become immediately Krishna conscious and engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. In this way, the descendants of pure devotees increase, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes much pleasure in seeing the increase of his devotees. The word Sumedasaha means sharply intelligent. When one's intelligence is sharp, He can increase the interests of common men in loving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and through him in loving Radha Krishna. Those not interested in understanding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are simply material in their attempts at professional chanting and dancing for money, despite their supposed artistry. If one does not have full faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cannot properly chant and dance in the Sankirtan movement. Artificial chanting and dancing may be due to sentiments or sentimental agitation, but this cannot help one advance in Krishna consciousness. When the devotees dance madly, it is not that they are trying to dance in a particular way and nice style and all that. It just comes because of intense love. That's why it looks very extraordinary, right? That this thing. So we have to have full faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And people cannot understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because of something covering the heart, because of sins or because of offenses. And so it doesn't matter. Everybody commits all these things. We've committed many births. We've been through all kinds of bodies and done in our ignorance. Everybody in ignorance commits sins and offenses. So, but the wonderful thing is we can get rid of all that by simply begging forgiveness. That's all. If you feel, we should understand that actually I'm also a part and parcel of Krishna. And because of my attachment to the mind, I don't feel connected with him. I want to be connected, but because of my mind, I'm not able to connect with him. So understanding that we are there with Krishna, but then, the mind is putting one big screen between us. And so all we can do is just pray to the Lord, beg him forgiveness. Please, whatever I've done, please forgive me. So many lifetimes I've done all nonsense. Please forgive me. That's all. But to cry, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. That's all. And Krishna is ready to forgive. That's all. These jnanis, they think that when there is problems or suffering, then they think I should become very detached and not to be disturbed. And then, aham brahmasmi. But that cannot satisfy Krishna, because he is not saying that you become indifferent to pain. Pain is there in material world. And why he has created pain is so that we'll come to our senses and take shelter of him. Now, if you don't do that, and instead you say, oh, I'm very detached, and nothing affects me. It is not the purpose at all. It doesn't satisfy Krishna. Tandra kripa na he yare pandita na he kene dekile sunile ha tandre Ishwara namane. If the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not bestowed upon a person, regardless of how learned a scholar that person may be, and regardless of his seeing or listening, he cannot accept Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same principles can be applied to demonic persons, even though they be in the Sampradaya of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without receiving the Lord's special power, one cannot preach his glories all over the world. Even though one may celebrate himself as a learned follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even though one may attempt to preach the holy name of the Lord all over the world, if he is not favored by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, will find fault with a pure devotee and will not be able to understand how a preacher is empowered by Lord Chaitanya. One must be considered bereft of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he criticizes the Krishna consciousness movement now spreading all over the world, or finds fault with this movement or the leader of the movement. Prabhupada, he was heavily, actually before Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sent many of his god brothers to preach in the West. They all went there. They didn't make even one devotee. Imagine, only Bon Maharaja made, I think, one or two from Germany, and they came to India. They took initiation. That was all. Imagine. And they were all great pandits, great scholars, and great sannyasis also. But maybe they were not humble enough, or I don't know what. They didn't get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whereas Prabhupada, he was not a sannyasi in the beginning. I mean, all his life, he was not a sannyasi, he was a grasta only. And compared to them, maybe he was not so learned in Sanskrit and all that. He said, but he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Alone he went and gave to the whole world. He spread. So he's really empowered. He's not, he's not an ordinary person. He's a Satyavesh avatar. But anyway, but people could not understand that and they were criticizing him. Mm. अथापि ते देवपदाम्बुजद् अथापि ते देवपदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन् महिम्नो न चान्य एकोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वम्. Lord Brahma said, my Lord, if one is favored even by a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. This verse is quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.29. It's explained in the Madhya Leela in the 6th chapter, text 84. So we don't have to feel bad that, oh, I don't know, so many shlokas. I haven't learned Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. How am I going to know the Lord? Right? You don't need all that. You just need to become very humble and ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm very, very fallen. If you think, no, I'm not fallen actually. I've got so many good qualities, I did this, I did that. Why should I say I'm fallen? I'm not fallen. If you think like that, then you won't get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So better, not in a defeatist way. We shouldn't get depressed. Sometimes it's very depressing if we think of our faults. And then, we think, oh, there is no hope. We don't need to get depressed. We need to think that whatever I may be, but if I connect with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'll be different. I will become a nice devotee. So we should be positive. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is ready to forgive everybody. And one who thinks he's the most fallen, then he will get the mercy first. That's the only qualification required. We shouldn't go before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and say, see, I did all this. I'm such a great devotee. Why you're not giving me your mercy? Not yet. But if you go and say, I'm really, really, really very unqualified, but somehow I have a desire to get it, please give me. You said that you will deliver the most fallen. So I am first in the queue. So please give me. That's all. That is all we need. And so we can always be positive. Be always positive. Don't think about I'm so materially attached and I have no interest and, my mind is very disturbed and so many obstacles. All those things can go away once you become positive. Positive because that if we take shelter of Krishna in a very humble mood, that's all. Everything will happen. Krishna will take care. That's the only qualification required. भटक हे एता स्वभाविका प्रेम रीता Mahaprabhu mili bhare utkanti tachita. Sarvam Bhattacharya replied, this is spontaneous love. All the devotees are very anxious to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First, the devotees will meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then take him with them to the temple to see Lord Jagannatha. The king said, the son of Bhavananda Raya named Vaninatha, along with 5 or 7 other men, went there to obtain the remnants of Lord Jagannatha's food. Indeed, Vaninatha has already gone to the residence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and has taken a huge quantity of Mahaprasadam. Let me know the reason for this. So, Vaninatha is actually a brother of Ramanandaraya. And he, full-time devotee, he is also. Ramanandaraya at least is married and he is living outside the ashram. Vaninatha is fully dedicated as a brahmachari. Bhattaka he bhaktagana aila janina prabhura ingite prasada yayatandralana. Sarvam Bhattacharya said, understanding that all the devotees have come, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the sign and therefore Vaninatha and the others have brought such great quantities of Mahaprasadam. The king then asked Bhattacharya, why have the devotees not observed the regulations for visiting the pilgrimage place, such as fasting, shaving, and so on? Why have they first eaten prasadam? So all the rules and regulations. When you go to a holy place, then you're supposed to fast, and then they have to shave, and then they have to bathe, and then. But instead, these devotees, they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took them to his room and gave prasadam, and they happily ate it. So he was asking, how come they're doing like that? The Bhattacharya told the king, what you have said is right according to the regulative principles governing the visiting of holy places. But there is another path, which is the path of spontaneous love. According to those principles, there are subtle intricacies involved in the execution of religious principles. According to the Vedic regulative principles, one has to be celibate before entering a holy place of pilgrimage. Generally, people are very much addicted to sense gratification, and unless they have sex at night, they cannot sleep. The regulative principles therefore enjoin that before a common man goes to a holy place of pilgrimage, he should observe complete celibacy. As soon as one enters a holy place, he must observe fasting for the day. And after shaving his head clean, he must take a bath in a river or ocean near the holy place. These methods are adopted to neutralize the effects of sinful activities. Visiting a holy place of pilgrimage means neutralizing the reactions of a sinful life. Those who go to holy places of pilgrimage actually unload the reactions of their sinful lives. And consequently, holy places are overloaded with sinful activities left there by visitors. So just like hospital, we go there for treatment, but actually hospitals are full of germs. There only you get all diseases. When a saintly person or pure devotee visits such a place, he absorbs the sinful effects left by the common men and again purifies the holy place. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Actually, it's mentioned that in Kali Yuga, all of the tirtha kshetras, they're not powerful enough to neutralize the sinful reactions of the people of Kali Yuga, except Mayapur Dham. Because Mayapur Dham is so merciful, any sinful person goes there, no problem. The Dham is able to, because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Dham can neutralize everybody's sins. And so that is why it is said that in Kali Yuga, the most potent place is Mayapur Dham. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were not common men, and they could not be subjected to the rules and regulations governing the visiting of holy places. Rather, they exhibited their spontaneous love for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, they will neutralize all the sins which are left behind by the common men. Immediately upon arrival at the holy place, they went to see Lord Chaitanya, and by his order, they took Mahaprasadam without following the regulations governing holy places. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never told them to do all that. He said, come eat, and they ate. So when you take to bhakti, when you take to devotional service to Krishna, and you love him, less and less rules. Actually, the bhakti process itself doesn't have too many rules and regulations, formalities. No, spontaneous. We go to the holy dham, then we quickly want to bathe and go and see all the deities, and you know, we just so that's a different thing. Now they don't say. Prabhupada never told that when you come to a holy dham, you have to fast, and then you should bathe, and for men you have to shave, and all these things. He didn't tell us because we're chanting Hare Krishna, which is like taking away every day. We are removing so much of dirt from our heart. So it's okay. And we go there, we can just bathe and go and see all the deities. The scriptural injunctions for shaving and fasting are indirect orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, when there is a direct order from the Lord to take prasadam, naturally the devotees take prasadam as their first duty. Whatever Krishna says, that is the thing. Suppose Krishna says, have this prasadam, and says, no, Krishna, wait, I'll go and do all that. actually, and then it's in, I mean, it's like you haven't understood. We have to do what pleases Krishna. That is religion. Actually, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, one day, after he became a devotee, he was sleeping in his room and it was early morning. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to, I mean, I don't know, somehow he overslept, I think. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went for Mangalarti to Jagannath temple. Then he got cashew nuts, offered Mahaprasadam cashew nuts. And he came to see Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya was sleeping in his bed and he got up and he sat on the bed. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the cashew nuts and gave it to him. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya immediately he put it into his mouth. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed and he said, "Hey, you are a big Pandita. And how come you, without even brushing your teeth, you're putting the Mahaprasadam into your mouth?" And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "No, the scriptures say that when you get Mahaprasadam, you're supposed to honor it immediately and put it into your mouth. If you don't do it, that's an insult to the Mahaprasadam." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with him. So that is spontaneous. I mean, in the Bhakti Marga, it's like that. When Mahaprasadam is not available, there must be fasting. But when the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly orders one to take prasadam, neglecting such an opportunity is offensive. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing prasadam with his transcendental hand, who will neglect such an opportunity and accept the regulative principle of fasting? Previously, the Lord gave me Mahaprasadam rice one morning, and I ate it just sitting on my bed without having even washed my mouth. So the man to whom the Lord shows his mercy by inspiring him within the heart takes shelter only of Lord Krishna and abandons all Vedic and social customs. Those are not so important if you take shelter of Krishna. There's also the teaching of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Such firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible only by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is sitting within everyone's heart. And when he personally inspires his devotee, the devotee does not stick to the Vedic principles or social customs, but rather devotes himself to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is confirmed in the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.29.46. Yada yam anugrahnati bhagavan atma bhavita tajahati matan loke vede cha parinishtitam. When one is inspired by the Lord who's sitting in everyone's heart, he does not care for social custom or Vedic regulative principles. This instruction, Bhagavatam 4.29.46, by Narada Goswami to King Prachina Bharti in connection with the story of Puranjana. Here Narada implies that without the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot extricate himself from the fruitive activities that are under the jurisdiction of the Vedas. In previous verses, Bhagavatam 4.29.42 to 44, Narada admits that even personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Manu, Prajapatis headed by Daksha, four Kumaras, Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Ratu, Bhrigu, Vasishta, and even Narada himself could not properly receive the costless mercy of the Lord. So that fruit of activities which are under the jurisdiction of the Vedas. So the Vedas are just telling us about doing material duties for some rewards, for some results. To come out of that is such a difficult thing. that even these great personalities, they did not properly receive the costless mercy of the Lord. They were not dancing in ecstasy like all the devotees who were accompanying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After this, King Prataprudra came down from the top of his palace to the ground and called for Kashi Mishra and the inspector of the temple. Maharaja Prataprudra then told both Kashi Mishra and the temple inspector, provide all the devotees and associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with comfortable residences, convenient eating facilities for prasadam, and convenient visiting arrangements at the temple, so that there will not be any difficulty. So we can see how Maharaja Prataprudra was such a wonderful servant and devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be carefully carried out. Although the Lord may not give direct orders, you're still to carry out his desires simply by understanding his indications. Saying this, the king gave them permission to leave. Sarvam Bhattacharya also went to see the assembly of all the Vaishnavas. So the king is saying that everything doesn't have to be told. Even if he doesn't directly say, do this, do that, by just watching him, you can make out his desires by what he's indicating through that. And that is what a good servant does. A good servant doesn't wait. Let the guru tell me what to do, or let devotees tell me, then I will do. No. He's watching what is it that they want by their indications, and then he voluntarily does. That is first class devotee, servant. Saying this, the king gave them permission to leave. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also went to see the assembly of all the Vaishnavas. From a distant place, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya watched the meeting of all the Vaishnavas with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Beginning from the right side of the lion gate or the main gate of the temple, all the Vaishnavas began to proceed towards the house of Kashi Mishra. In the meantime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accompanied by his personal associates, met all the Vaishnavas on the road with great jubilation. First, Advaita Acharya offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord immediately embraced him in ecstatic love. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya displayed agitation due to ecstatic love. Seeing the time and circumstance, however, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained patient. So every devotee who meets another devotee feels very ecstatic in each other's presence, and they get restless. It is not that only in Madhurya Ras, even in Sakya Ras, Dasya Ras also, Hanuman and Ramchandraji, when they embrace, they feel so much ecstasy. Or even neutral, Shantaras also, when Krishna hugs the cows, then tears come from the cows. Cows are also, licking up Krishna, showing their love to him. After this, all the devotees headed by Srivas Thakura offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord embraced each and every one of them in great love and ecstasy. The Lord addressed all the devotees one after another and took all of them with him into the house. Imagine how wonderful. They all came, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will talk individually to each and every person and make them feel so welcome. That is personalism, to soul connection. And that is why when you try to connect with people soul to soul, then you can really connect with a lot of people. And we should connect, because that means you're coming to the spiritual platform. In the Jnani platform, one withdraws, one becomes detached, and then he say, I don't need anything. I don't need to even talk to people. I'll just keep Mauna Vrat. That is one level. But to talk about Krishna, to connect with everyone, to render service to them, That's on a much higher platform. Since the residence of Kashi Mishra was insufficient, all the assembled devotees were very much overcrowded. Because Lord Chaitanya took devotees one after another, no, addressed all the devotees one after another and took all of them with him into the house. Imagine his house, Kashi Mishra's house, which was there, which is still there. And so the room, all the assembled devotees, imagine there were about 200 of them. I don't know how we fitted all of them in the house. Maybe it was a big hall. Since the residence of Kashi Mishra was insufficient, all the assembled devotees were very much overcrowded. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit side at his side, and with his own hand, he offered them garlands and sandalwood pulp. Imagine, they were all crouched near him, and he said, "Come, come." And all of them sit by his side. After this, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvam Bhattacharya met all the Vaishnavas at the palace, at the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a befitting manner. Advaitera kahina Prabhu Madhura Vachana Ajiyami Purna Ilana Tomara Agamane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed Advaita Acharya Prabhu, saying sweetly, "My dear sir, today I become perfect because of your arrival." Advaita Acharya Prabhu replied, "This is natural characteristic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is personally complete and full in all opulences, he takes transcendental pleasure in the association of his devotees, with whom he has a variety of eternal pastimes. Vasudeva Dheki Prabhu Anandita Hana Tandriki Chukkahi Tandra Ange Diya." As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Vasudeva Datta, the older brother of Mukunda Datta, he immediately became very happy and placing his hand on his body began to speak. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Although Mukunda is my friend from childhood, I nonetheless take greater pleasure in seeing you than in seeing him." So Vasudeva Datta was the older brother of Mukunda Datta, who was the childhood friend of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is naturally a great pleasure to see a friend. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Vasudeva Datta that although it was his pleasure to see his friend, his pleasure was increased by seeing the older brother. Vasudeva replied, "Mukunda got your association in the beginning. As such, he has taken shelter at your lotus feet. That is his transcendental rebirth." Thus, Vasudeva Datta admitted his inferiority to Mukunda, his younger brother. "Although Mukunda is my junior," he said, "he first received your favor. Consequently, he became transcendently senior to me. Besides that, you very much favored Mukunda. Thus, he is superior in all good qualities." So Vasudeva Datta is not going to take any such, uh, praise for himself. So he wanted to say, no, actually Mukunda is my junior, but he only came to Krishna consciousness first. He only got your favor. So he's superior to me in all good qualities. The Lord said, "For your sake only I have brought 2 books from South India." So he's going to give it to Vasudeva Datta. He made copies of it. He gave it to that devotee in Kerala because he wanted to know about Sita Devi. And Brahma Samhita also he got. The books are being kept with Sarupa Damodara and you can get them copied. Hearing this, Vasudeva became very glad. Indeed, each and every Vaishnava copied the 2 books. By and by, the 2 books, the Brahma Samhita and Sri Krishna Karnamrita, were broadcast all over India. So it is not written by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got from the original scriptures. and he got it copied. Somebody wrote it down, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought it for his devotees. The Lord addressed Srivasa and his brothers with great love and affection, saying, "I'm so obliged that I'm purchased by you 4 brothers." Srivas then replied to the Lord, "Why are you speaking in a contradictory way? Rather, we 4 brothers have been purchased by your mercy." So, there's another style of speaking. By glorifying the Lord, but then you find some contradictions in his speech. Shankare Dekiya Prabhu Kahi Damodare Gaurava Priti Amara Tomara Upare. After seeing Shankara, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Damodara, "My affection for you is on the platform of awe and reverence." Here the Lord is addressing Damodara Pandita, who is different from Swarupa Damodara. Damodara Pandita is the elder brother of Shankara. Thus the Lord informed Damodara that his affection towards him was on the platform of awe and reverence. However, the Lord's affection towards his younger brother Shankara was on the platform of pure love. Okay, let's stop now. Any questions or comments?
What is Labda Chaitanya? What did you tell?
What?
You told Labda Chaitanya, I cannot understand.
Oh, Labda Chaitanya. That means for getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Says, wait. Anyway, it was yeah, it just means one gets a great mercy from the Lord, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. That is Labda Chaitanya. One who's received the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
How is merciful to give each and everyone? How he was merciful to give mercy to each and everyone. No, he gave Chandan Lep and all.
Can you repeat? I didn't hear.
Giving Chandan Lep for each and every person, no, each and every devotee, he took care in Kashi Mishra's house.
Yeah. Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's what. Those are his pure devotees, so he's personally taking care and giving the prasadam to him. Very loving. Like that, Guru Maharaj also tried to follow him. No, whenever you go, even if you go for Guru Puja, in Mayapur, in a separate room, they do Guru Puja. So many devotees will be crowded in that room. And the Bengali devotees, they won't follow the etiquette of sitting down. They'll all stand up. Especially as soon as Guru Maharaj comes, they will all stand up. You can't see him even. And so then he'll always, they'll make nice samosas. Samosas prasadam. And Guru Maharaj will give samosa, two samosas, sometimes one samosa, whatever, in our hands. 2 samosas also. He's so generous, always. You go there, nice, you get darshan of Guru Maharaj and you get nice samosas. For me, samosa is my religion because I became devotee in the beginning by eating samosas. So, and it's like double bonanza over there. Very nice. So, like that, he follows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood. He always feeds us prasadam. And he's so loving. And he'll ask, everything okay? Your rooms are okay? Your health is okay? He takes care. So just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he attracts everyone, isn't it?
So he's in the Radharani mood, no, Mataji? Actually, in the Radharani mood. Like mother is asking, he's okay. Did you get?
Yeah.
Radha Bhav.
Yes.
Ajit Prabhu, you were telling something, no, Prabhu? You were telling
what
something.
he's saying, Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji, I was not telling anything.
What about Ayan Shah, Prabhu? Bhal laglo.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandatana.
Hare
It was a
Krishna.
very beautiful class, Mataji. I was not able to attend the whole class, but I heard one thing that you were telling, that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the ultimate purificatory process, Mataji. That point I liked that so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
What? Hare Krishna mantra?
It's the ultimate purificatory process, Mataji, that we don't need to do anything. We can take Mahaprasadam without even brushing our teeth.
Yeah. I mean, we shouldn't try to go and eat Mahaprasadam, but if it comes on its own, then it doesn't mean, okay, now I don't need to go, brush my teeth, I'll simply go and eat Mahaprasadam. But it means that on its own, if it comes, then that time,
Yes, ma'am.
should
Hare
first
Krishna,
put it
Mataji.
in the mouth, whatever it
No, no.
is. But on fast days, you should not do.
Yes, Mataji. On Ekadashi.
Ekadashi or something, whatever it is. Even Maha, you should take it, honor it, and keep it. Tomorrow,
Next
okay,
day.
I will eat like that.
Hare Krishna. Dandatana.
V.S. Narayan Prabhu, any points?
Prabhuji, you're on mute.
Mute. Yours is mute.
You told one thing now about that. We don't need to do that yajna and Veda Homa and all that. That's not required. That is our.
Yeah.
That is done for mainly material gains, is it not?
No, actually, the Brahmins, because they only do this puja, that is, they keep the fire burning, and Aupasana. For Grihasthas, there is Aupasana Yajna, and there is, see, Smarta Viddhi and Shrauta Viddhi. Smarta Viddhi is all these rituals which you do for material benefit. And the other one is this, more spiritual, Agnihotra, which you just perform for your mukti, for your liberation or for your spiritual advancement. So those are things like, Ashwamedha Yajna, Gomedha Yajna, like that, those sort of things. And the other thing is, Brahmanas normally, they have to always keep the fire burning. And so you have to put some green husks and all that every day. That sort of thing. That is for Aupasana, that is for material benefit. Both the husband and wife can do it. It is a grihastha. As soon as you become a grihastha, it is necessary for both husband and wife to do that. Anyway, nowadays, Prabhu, where we can do all that, keep fire burning and all that in the city, and keep morning and evening putting grains and all, where we can do all that. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna also said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Pracha. We are doing only that.
Mataji, so some Brahmanas are doing Agnihotra doing every day. Nowadays, some Brahmanas are doing Agnihotra.
Oh,
they do, yeah. That is, they have to offer the fire. But those are all material plane only. That's not actually spiritual. It is not devotional service.
Yeah.
It is coming to Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha.
Yeah, and they want a peaceful, happy life in the material world.
What happy life? What peaceful? Again, you have to die, no? And again, you have to take birth. What peaceful, happy life? And they make big insurance policy. I had taken 50 crore policy. What way you are going to secure? You are going to die. They say, I have taken 50 crore. No, I'm
Oh,
telling that
so
some
that if
people
he
say,
dies, the relatives will get 50 crores.
yeah, he's thinking of that. He's not thinking where he's going.
My God, 50
Prabhupada,
crores, then how much premium is to pay?
maybe I'm telling about multimillionaires, they keep big policies, but they
Okay.
don't know about their own policy. But Prabhupada says that what we are chanting is the insurance premium for our soul. The policy is for the soul. This is for the body.
Yeah. That's what in earlier times, they were only thinking of giving spiritual culture to their children. And they say that the Vedas and all the yajnas and the religion will take care of them. Dharma will take care of them. I'll give dharma to my children and dharma will take care of them. Not that now,
Dharma,
no dharma, only money you collect and keep for all your descendants.
no dharma, artha, no dharma.
Yeah.
Sini Sunindran Mataji, any question? Prashnangal undo?
ഇല്ല പ്രഭുജി വെരി ടയർഡ് നാക്ക് വിസിറ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു കോളേജിൽ ഇന്നും നാളെ.
Mataji's chanting is good. In the morning, she does very clearly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Speed, but very clear. No mistake.
She is very Krishna conscious. She's doing all her family work. She's got children,
Yeah.
husband, and she's got a college, and still she's very dedicated.
Yes.
Mataji, today we have today and tomorrow NAC visit in our college. One person came from Varanasi. He's a vice chancellor, and another his name is Tripadi, and one is Chauhan. One person is from Tamil Nadu. So I took 2 Hindi Bhagavad Gita and I gave. I mean, some other teacher gave. But they are very happy. And they said, principal again and again, thanks for that, madam. She gave Bhagavad Gita.
You gave
I
it a
asked
gift?
her.
You sold it or you
I
gave
did
it
not
as a
give in our college when another devotee madam is there. She is also Krishna conscious. That time I was in class, but they called me. But she's a little senior to me. She is also Krishna conscious. So I said her to give. She is elder, very old. So she gave. Even we all were there. So they were very happy.
It was a gift or you
Then
sold it, Mataji? You sold it or you gifted it?
You gave it as a gift.
Gifted Mataji.
Okay. Anyway,
Because
nice.
they visited our department, language department, they came. That time we just, I thought in mind, I can give one gift.
Very nice. See, she's always thinking of Gita and Krishna, even in the college. No?
Then one more thing made me so excited today. Program began with Varaha, some Sanskrit. But 2 boys, they sang that song. Krishna song, end with one Krishna's dance. Me, I took my Krishna's idol. They said, please bring Krishna's idol. And even with cultural program also, they became so happy. All are like religious, related to our Hindu religion. So they were also so excited. And they said they visited 14, 15, same like different colleges of India. But this is the first experience they got.
You took the deities, the college.
My Krishna is there. Krishna
oh,
is
you
there.
took your deity. Don't say idol.
Yes.
You must say
deity,
not idol. Idol is a derogatory word. Idol
Yes.
means
deity.
Deity.
This
You
one
took your deity. She doesn't have deity, but she has a vigra which she worships even before.
This
So beautiful.
Okay, very nice. Haribol.
Little Krishna.
Very sweet.
So nice, so nice.
Yeah, in Guruvayur I've seen this, no?
I brought from Guruvayur Mataji. This one.
Haribol.
Very sweet.
There is one devotee, Chidambaram, from, actually he's a marine engineer. He travels all over the world. He's a brahmachari. And he's telling he's finding so many, he will walk on the road, some ladies will catch his hand and he has to come running and chant. But he found one Mayapur cook in the ship. Chidambaram Prabhu, varela, line la varela.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you just...
He's from Mayapur.
Everybody.
He's from Mayapur.
It was
Mayapur,
all
he's from
costless. It was all
Chidambaram.
costless.
He's from Chidambaram.
Oh,
But he's a marine engineer. He travels all over the world. But he's finding so much difficulty everywhere. Ladies, and whenever the ship stops, they'll go to the ladies. And they come running to him and he runs away and close the door. And he chants in the room. He's telling such a big test.
It is all costless mercy and by seniors' blessings, Mataji. And like I'm getting some inspiration from Suvakrishna Prabhu also, some points where in future I decide to follow that also. And you know, every time like somewhere or other Krishna provides the temple in Canada and all. Last time I happened to visit the temple, that was a very old times only. And some senior sannyasis like Bhakti Raghav Maharaj, like he and all took initiation from that temple in his initial days. So many things we have to hear. Wherever we go, it's like out of devotees association, I could able to relish these pastimes. If not, I am also gone. But Mataji, your class
He's
was
actually...
very wonderful.
thank you.
Yes, sorry, please.
You're chanting 16 rounds?
Yes, Mataji. Like I have difficulties while I'm on board ship, but normally when I'm there on the land and all, most of the time 16 rounds is going. So I prefer to stay mostly in temple along with my counselor, and that time it's all like 16 plus it goes, and the home little bit here and there, sometimes 16, sometimes plus minus 2, 3. That is a clearance.
But when you are in the
So that's
sea,
how it
no? When
Yes,
you're in the sea, very close to nature, that time you feel close to Krishna.
I feel very blessed to see the route of Prabhupada. Here in the Leelamrit, we study the Atlantic, the nature of Atlantic when Prabhupada crosses. So I have crossed around more than 10, 12 times Atlantic. So every time I feel like, oh, every time, most of the time weather is, it's like surprisingly, it's very calm. Sometimes due to rough, I understand, my God, at this age, what was the suffering what Prabhupada was taking to follow his order of his Guru. So sometimes in Red Sea, Egypt and all, I hear Prabhupada walk around the port also in say the Egypt area and all. So
We
everywhere,
walked, huh?
yeah. So it says like when the ship halted in the Suez Canal, nearby Suez, he walked around the Egypt port and all. So some kind of pastimes where even like we in our college also we are all connected like marine devotees. We are all 10, 12, 20 people around. So everybody keep posting something. So everybody will be there in some or other part of the world, somewhere in the ship. So if it takes somebody also, they say, hey, go this temple, this address. Sometimes they give even some senior devotees contact also. Just check with them. And some pastimes you can hear from them also if you go there. So this keeps us charged for at least for next 2-3 months for me personally, where some amount of rounds at least I can chant. Some kind of offering I can make on board when to the small altar which I carry. So these things and all keeps the ship moving. my devotional ship keep moving.
Master,
So
last
that's
time
a
You're
journey.
able to meet devotees from all over the world.
Last time he found in the ship one cook from Mayapur, even the ship cooking. So he got all the prasad of the ship also.
Ah,
Yeah, it was
Mayapur devotee.
surprising. Yeah, it was very surprising, Mataji. Mostly we get difficult to get even Indians only. And apart from that, an Indian and that too a cook. And that too he's from a Mayapur who knows the requirement of all these things. That is all a miracle. Costless, what is it? Completely costless mercy.
but you're not able to preach there to the ship
Oh,
people to chant.
Mataji, it's like if I
They're
could
very
able to
clever,
save
huh?
myself, that can be considered as the biggest success.
He's telling Mataji, when the shore reaches, they are all running for girls. Everyone will go, some girl they want, they go to the shore, and sometimes you go some forest and all. There's nobody, no devotee, just worried inside the ship, you close the door and chant. He doesn't know what to do. If he goes out, some girl will come running. He's
I
now
understood, but one
wanting to
And
get
they drink also. They must be drinking also, now in the ship.
drinking,
all
everything.
4 out of 4. 4 out of 4 regulative principles. Everything they has to break.
Meat eating, gambling.
Oh, horrible.
But Prabhuji, but
Very sad.
surprisingly, Prabhuji, I was thinking in the initial days, this is a very obnoxious thing. I better leave this career only. I was thinking this. I discussed with my parents also, with the devotees also many times. But practically, unfortunately, we see this is not at all something new, Prabhuji. Everywhere this is happening. This is not something new. What I found is
Sure.
in Western countries, this is nothing. This is common, and
Yeah,
even in
Prabhu.
the metro cities also, this is very, very common. Very, very
Yeah,
common.
in Bangalore, in the night after finishing IT companies, and the night after, then there are both boys and girls, they go to the pub. They're very tired. They go drink and then go home.
There is a near
One side,
Koromangalam, Mataji. Near
Huh?
our center. Near Koromangalam, many are there.
Yes.
so
the
near, like,
pub.
Prabhuji, actually, I say this is, in one side, this is better also. In fact, in where I am there, I'm working with oil, chemical, gas and all, where officially women and all are not allowed. But at the same time, company policy is there. There's a zero alcohol policy. Somebody found taking alcohol, something or any kind of alcohol stuff, immediately he'll be thrown out. So at least officially these things are all there, and company will never encourage this kind of drugs or alcohol abuse and all, never. But in this side, I can say, okay, better I'm there in a safe place. But it is up to oneself that he's going somewhere. But company policy is that he's drinking means he's drinking outside. Okay. But in the ship, if he's found alcohol, then he will have tough times. So, but when compared to the other industry, okay, in this point, okay, somewhere I'm situated in the safe zone.
Prabhu, you can read lot of books, Prabhupada books,
Ah,
isn't it?
Yes, Mataji, can read
And listen to lectures and all that. No.
yes.
Yes, Mataji, can do. But I work for around 14 hours a day. Completely is a physical work at 45 degree, 48 degree Celsius.
What are you, Prabhu? You're an engineer or
Engineer.
Marine engineer.
Engineer.
No. What in the ship? What is your job?
I
Designation.
work as I have to take care of some operations and maintenance of the machineries, and go ahead with the ship schedule, like wherever the operations are there, safety operations, all these things, all in all, except navigation, everything I have to do. Yeah.
You have to keep the
Must be
ship intact.
all the time. But but you will be working in shifts, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Anyway, it's a different kind of life. Land and ship, I'm sure it must be so different, no?
It's all it's all extremes. It's
45 days he
extremes,
comes to Chennai. The holidays, the 45 days he comes to shore, and Baki time is all in the ship only. So much difficult. He has to get married, he's 29-year-old. You want to get initiated, all they're waiting now.
Our parents are waiting.
For him to get married.